I had been working the late shifts at Petro's Corner, an old gas station situated on a less traveled road, for a few months. Most nights passed uneventfully, save for the occasional lonely traveler or trucker who'd stop by for a quick refuel or a cup of steaming coffee. One humid night in July, as the old neon lights buzzed overhead, a rusted white van pulled up. Its paint was peeling, and the rear bumper had a partially scratched-off sticker that read, "Smile, it's free." Out stepped a man, probably in his early 50s, with wild gray hair and a stained white tee clinging to his frame. His eyes, though, were sharp and constantly darting, taking in the surroundings. "Late night, huh?" he remarked, his voice gravelly, approaching the counter. "Always is," I replied, glancing at the van. The windows were tinted, but I could swear I saw movement inside. He grabbed a pack of cigarettes and a lighter, pointing out to the van. "You got a restroom I could use?" "It's around the back," I answered, eyeing him cautiously. He seemed to linger a moment longer than necessary after paying, his gaze piercing, almost studying me. "You here all alone?" he asked. "Boss will be back soon," I lied, hoping to deter any unsavory ideas. He smirked. "Right." Heading out, he walked towards the restroom, but not before tapping on the van twice. The night was unusually quiet. The crickets seemed muted, and the wind barely rustled the leaves. My gut churned with unease. Curiosity got the better of me. I decided to step out and inspect the van, ensuring I was not visible from the restroom's direction. Drawing closer, I heard it, a muffled whimper. My heart raced. Peeking through a small gap in the tinting, I saw them. Tied, gagged, and clearly terrified were two women, their eyes wide with fear. They signaled me to leave. I rushed inside, panic setting in. I needed to act fast. Grabbing my phone, I dialed 911, but just as I was about to speak, the restroom door creaked open. I swiftly hid the phone behind the counter, leaving the line open, praying the operator would catch on. The man walked in, his demeanor changed. He was no longer attempting to appear casual. "You shouldn't have looked," he hissed, reaching under his shirt. Reacting quickly, I hurled the coffee pot towards him. The scalding liquid splashed on his face, eliciting a scream. Using the momentary distraction, I sprinted out of the station towards the woods behind. Hearing his angered shouts trail me, I hid, heart pounding, behind a dense thicket, hoping he wouldn't find me. The distant sirens grew louder. Risking a peek, I saw police cars pull up, officers with guns drawn. The man was cornered, shouting incoherently. Soon he was in cuffs. Emerging from my hideout, I was met with the grateful gaze of the two women, now free from their confines. They were hitchhikers he'd picked up, only to overpower and abduct. The quietness of Petro's Corner was forever shattered for me. The terrors of that night were all too real, a chilling testament to the darkness lurking in ordinary places. I quit soon after, haunted not by ghosts, but by the grim reminder of the human monsters that roamed the world. The town of Lenox was small, quiet, and generally uneventful. For a few extra bucks during college, I took a night shift at a gas station at the edge of town, named Myers Fuel Stop. Situated on the crossroads of two highways, it mostly served truckers and late-night travelers. Most nights, the hum of the refrigerator was my only companion, but one night changed everything. It was a particularly still evening with the thick scent of summer in the air and a chorus of crickets in the background. A lone sedan pulled into the station, its worn-out tires crunching against the gravel. Out stepped a man, average in height but with a haggard appearance, deep-set eyes, a scruffy beard, and clothes that seemed to hang off him. He had an intense gaze that immediately set me on edge. "Evening," he muttered as he entered the store. "Good evening," I replied, trying to sound casual. "Can I help you with anything?" He didn't respond, but walked the aisles slowly, picking up random items, examining them, then placing them back. There was something off about him. His movements were twitchy, and he constantly looked over his shoulder, as if expecting someone. 10 minutes passed, then 20. The man continued his erratic browsing. My unease grew, and I discreetly texted my friend Jake, asking him to come over. Jake lived close by and knew about my night shifts. Suddenly, the man approached the counter, laying out a selection of items: a map, a flashlight, some bandages, and a bottle of water. "Going on a trip?" I ventured, trying to make conversation and alleviate the tension. He locked eyes with me, pausing before answering. "You could say that." I rang up his items quickly, wanting him gone. That's when I noticed the stains on his dollar bills. They were dark and slightly red. My mind raced with possibilities, none of them good. He must have seen the alarm in my eyes because his demeanor changed. "You've seen too much," he whispered menacingly. Before I could react, he lunged at me. Adrenaline kicked in and I dodged, using the counter as a barrier. Just then, headlights illuminated the store. Jake's truck. The man, seeing a potential witness, dashed out, disappearing into the night. Jake entered, his face a mask of concern. "Are you okay?" he asked, noticing the state of disarray. Breathing heavily, I nodded, recounting the ordeal. "We called the police, and while waiting for them, we reviewed the security footage. The man's actions inside the store were creepy enough, but what we saw next made our blood run cold. The footage from the gas pumps showed the man opening the trunk of his sedan momentarily, just long enough for us to glimpse a figure bound and gagged within. The police launched a manhunt. The sedan was stolen, and the items the man left behind were sent for analysis. A few days later, they found the car abandoned by a roadside, but the trunk was empty. The man was never found, and neither was his potential victim. Every night shift after that, every shadow, every noise filled me with dread. I soon quit the job, haunted by the face of the man and the horrors he might have committed. The quiet town of Lenox never felt the same again, a reminder that real monsters often walk among us, hidden in plain sight.